Welcome to a special Year in Review edition of Northeast Journal. I'm your host, Joe Cullen. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll take a look back at our favorite stories and interviews from 2017. All that and more is straight ahead on this special edition of Northeast Journal. Hello everyone and welcome to this special edition of Northeast Journal. I'm your host, Joe Cullen. Every month on Northeast Journal we give you an inside look at the people and places that make up the Northeast section of the Twin Cities. It's hard to believe, but somehow 2017 has gone by seemingly as quickly as it started. Throughout this next half hour we're going to take a look back at a collection of stories and interviews we did this past year. First up, here's a look at a story on Uptown girl Cupcakes in downtown White Bear Lake.
Baking's been a lifelong thing for us. I remember baking in high school. It actually probably started with candy making with my grandma. When my kids were born, I started making specialty cakes for their birthdays, and it just really grew from there. Every year we've been incrementally growing. So the first year we opened the food truck, and that remains open in the summer months. The next year we opened our retail place here. This year, just in these last few weeks, we've been in the process of opening a production kitchen. That's also in White Bear Lake up at Highway 61 in Conroe J. Every day we do small batch baking. We do about 2 to 3 dozen of any particular type of cupcakes. We have about 8 to 12 varieties on the counter every day. Last Friday of the month, we do piece cupcakes. They're free of charge. So if you just swing in, you'll be able to pick out a piece cupcake. It's generally just a standard vanilla cupcake. It has a peace symbol on top. It's pre-packaged. And the idea is that when you pick it up, that you would give it to somebody else that you normally wouldn't talk to. It's just designed to generate conversation and kindness. I cannot believe how incredibly supportive the community has been. Our sign on the outside says happiness starts here. It's really because when people come in to buy cupcakes, they are thrilled. They're happy, they're smiling. It's a little surprise. They walk through the door kind of inquiring, like, what's on the counter today? And that's really great.
We did that story on Uptown girl Cupcakes back in March. Since then, they've moved to a different location. They're now north of downtown White Bear Lake on Highway 61. Taking their place in their old building on 3rd Street in downtown White Bear Lake is Blue Water Polish Pottery. Producer Jeff Melcock visited there and has this story.
I have been doing Polish pottery online for a number of years, and we do different events like Polish Fest in Milwaukee or some of the local Christmas markets, and loved interacting with the people. And last December I did a pop-up shop next to Good Things, and it was way fun. Everyone loved it, great reception, and so I've been looking for a spot ever since. I went shopping with girlfriends, and they loved the Polish pottery, and I didn't really know about it. Went with them to Poland to see Poland and started there collecting it a little bit at a time, and the more I had, the more I loved it, and that's how I got into it. It's all hand done in Poland. I choose the shapes and the colors, the patterns, and I have several factories and I order it. Takes about a year to get. The region of Poland, there's something with the clay that makes it very durable, and it bakes like Pampered Chef. It's hand painted, it goes in the dishwasher, the microwave, the oven, the freezer. They take the clay and it's all hand done. They do have some presses that they use, and they still have hand cut stamps. They actually cut the sponges, and then there's a little wheel, and the wheel spins and they stamp around it, and then of course the freehand painting. It's fun to talk to people that know it or have traveled, or even just the excitement when people realize, you know, not only is it beautiful, but you can use it every day. We're on the corner of 3rd and Banning, across from Sun Bear. Great location, very fun, walkable, downtown area is wonderful.
Here's a look at some of the other stories we've brought you on Northeast Journal in 2017.
Image 360 is a progressive model for signs, graphics, displays, and print collateral promotional materials. We don't model a traditional print shop or a traditional sign and graphic shop. We're a lot more collaborative and project management oriented. We work very closely with our clients to find solutions that meet their budgets and make use of the space that they have to really showcase their businesses. Today we're working on signage and graphics for a new exercise facility, a new CrossFit facility. We're wrapping a food truck today. Right now we're printing some banners for Health East. We're working on some graphics for the outside of an office building. Every day is different, and that's kind of what makes it fun. You know, our job is to really make sure that a business gets their message across to their clients, and that they, you know, put their best foot forward, that they can communicate what it is that they do, so that they can, in turn, sell the most products that they have to their clients. So we really view ourselves as part of their marketing team. I think people are always very surprised at the breadth of what we can do and what we can produce here. It's all very different. So if you say, I've got this problem and I need a solution to resolve it, we're going to find a way to make that happen.
Caring for a loved one with memory loss comes with many challenges. The Ramsey County Library is trying to make things a little easier for caregivers with their new Memory Minder kits.
So often people maybe won't visit someone like a relative with Alzheimer's because they don't know what to say. You know, the person doesn't recognize them. It's really hard interaction. And so this provides a way for people to have a pleasant interaction together based on what's in the bag.
The Memory Minder kits contain a variety of materials to help caregivers connect with those suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia. Shoreview Library Branch Manager Carol Jackson tells us what's inside the kits.
They consist of a book that has large, beautiful pictures and then maybe a few little conversational prompts. It comes with an activity like a puzzle or maybe a modified card game or conversation cards, or for the ones that are very low functioning, maybe just like a manual activity like lacing something together. They include a CD because so often music is one of the things people really remember and stays with them. And then it also includes a book called The Caregiver's Guide to Dementia, which is a fantastic, simple book with great strategies on how to, you know, have really great interactions with people with Alzheimer's.
The kits are divided into high, middle, and low activity levels. Jackson says the Memory Minder kits are the first of their kind in a library nationwide, and the response so far has been tremendous.
It's really been so lovely because our display is right next to the reference desk. So I see somebody coming up and they're looking, and I'm like, and I tell them about the kit, and I had a woman say to me, I just feel so refreshed knowing this is here.
The Memory Minder kits were created through a joint collaboration between the Ramsey County Library and the Roseville Alzheimer and Dementia Community Action Team. The kits are available at both the Shoreview and Roseville libraries, but can also be requested to check out at any Ramsey County Library branch. For more information, visit the library's website at rclreads.com.
We are a premier provider of water safety and learn to swim education for children aged 4 months to 12 years. We also provide a curriculum that was custom developed by our founder that prepares them for not just ongoing stroke development, but also potential future recreational or competitive swimming. We also like the demographics and the personality of Oakdale and the neighboring communities. We think it's just a great fit for what we bring to the community and what their expectations are in terms of quality of service. It's just a great fit. We're super happy with the location and it's working out really well so far. The city of Oakdale was remarkably wonderful. They've got a great team of folks there that were supportive, extremely professional. Any big construction project or a tenant improvement build out like this is a little bit complex and things, there's always challenges, and whenever we encountered something like that, the staff at the city of Oakdale was not just professional but genuinely interested in helping us get to where we are today. We take a lot of pleasure in having the privilege of teaching young people how to swim and watching them progress. In the short time that we've been open, we've already had a few students progress to the next level, and it's a joy and also an awesome responsibility because this is something that's intensely important, that our young people know how to swim, they know how to be safe, and they make the right decisions when they're around water. Quite frankly, we feel privileged to be here and to be representing Goldfish Swim School.
The Oakdale Bark Park is 4.6 acres, and it's a fantastic place. I'm really pleased with all the people that came out and all the dogs that are enjoying the park. Really, it's the good work, again, from the Public Works. They oversaw the whole project. The vendors that helped us and gave us the great enough pricing on all the improvements. And also the Parks and Recs Department of the Commission oversaw the design of it. So with that, I was really pleased to christen our first dog park, and we're thrilled.
We're in walking distance too. We can just walk on over here with the little one, put her in the stroller, and let the dog run so he's not cooped up in the backyard. He's a pretty social guy, so he sees other dogs and he wants to go say hi. It worked out great for him. He couldn't be happier.
It feels like home when you walk in. I mean, the car collection is Rob's dad's. The barrels, the sports plaques on the wall came from Joel. When you walk in here, this is just a place where you can come relax, have a beer, have a burger, enjoy really, really good food. You take the sides, the appetizers, the cheese curds are better than the ones at the state fair. There's just nothing like them. And the onion rings, we've only been open since April, but the onion rings finished in the top 4 for all of Minnesota on a WCCO poll. They're amazing. You know, hand battered to order. Farley John's is the beer batter. Virtually everything's been word of mouth. We're blessed to have a huge Facebook following. The reviews online have been very supportive and people telling their friends. I think this is what the community needed. There hasn't been a really good place where you can go and just get a burger and a beer. You can go out and have an amazing dining experience and go spend 30 or 40 bucks a person with dinner and drinks. But a family of 4 can come out here, have dinner, enjoy a nice time out, and not break the bank. They can do it on a weeknight, they can get in and out quick, and they can have a good time. And if you want to come and have happy hour, there's a selection of 50 craft taps, and there's something for everybody between the taps and the bottles. And we tried to keep everything that we could local. The beef is butchered and processed here in Minnesota. It's all Hereford beef. Over half our beer menu is local. We try to support what is Minnesota and to keep it, as much of it here as we can. Stop in and give us a try. I can tell you that the beers that we have and the things that we have are because this is a neighborhood place. Come check us out. We have stuff going on every night. And Mondays kids eat free. So bring the kids on Mondays and let's have some fun.
Started with just selling pumpkins for Halloween, and it became, people wanted more to do, something to see and stuff. So now we have a petting zoo that's free. Kids can come out and see cows, goats, sheep, different farm animals. We do a hayride that goes all the way around the farm, shows them some pumpkins, has some fun stuff on it, just Halloween stuff for kids to see. And we also do a corn maze. That's a 3-acre cornfield with trails in it. Kids get to walk through there, try to find their way back out of the cornfield. Pumpkins is still our focus. We were just out picking pumpkins today. We grow all of our own pumpkins. We had a great season for pumpkins this year. It's a great place to come out on the weekend. Like I said, there's food, there's stuff to do. You can spend an hour here, you can spend all day here. Everybody has a good time, and we get thanked a lot for putting on something that the whole family can enjoy. The fun thing is now a lot of people will come out and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I remember coming here as I was a kid. My parents took pictures of us in front of the big pumpkin. Now I'm taking pictures of my kids in front of the pumpkin, you know. It's something that's become part of their memories of their childhood growing up.
It's time for a short break. When we come back on this special edition of Northeast Journal, we'll take a look back at some of the in-studio interviews we did in 2017. We'll be right back.
Heroes come from small towns.
Many of our heroes coming home from wars in Iraq and Afghanistan have a new battle: unemployment. Hello, I'm Rocky Lynn.
I'm Sergeant Dejan Farrell.
And I'm Captain Ron Jarvie. The unemployment rate for today's veteran is 12%.
That's twice the average of others living here in the Heartland.
This year, tribute to the troops, the armed forces, and members of the Upper Midwest ME chapter are asking you to help. Hire today's veteran.
To hire today's veteran, visit positivelyminnesota.com/veterans.
Extra DWI enforcement is now being served on Minnesota roads. Don't be what you drink.
Welcome back to this special Year in Review edition of Northeast Journal. Every month on this show, I like to invite a guest to this very studio right here for a more in-depth interview. Here's a look at some of the great guests that we've talked to in 2017. George is the author of a few books about wrestling, including Minnesota's Golden Age of Wrestling. And we're excited to have George on our program here today. Thanks so much for coming by.
My pleasure. I enjoy it. Talk wrestling.
First off, can we just get a little bit of your background?
You know, my background is real simple, Joe. I guess I could say I started as a fan like everyone else when I was about 8 years old. And I turned on TV and there was wrestling, and like some fans, I guess I became addicted. But it turned out to be a good, what I'd call a drug. It kept me out of trouble. I enjoyed wrestling. I started following it around the country, and the rest is history. I became a historian because I started researching everything from all over the country. So,
I'm joined now by the director of Marketfest, Deb Stender. Deb, I want to thank you for once again coming here on Northeast Journal.
Thanks so much for having me.
I know you've been on the last few years, and it's amazing how quickly this always comes around. I feel like you were just on talking about last year's Marketfest, but here we are again.
Yeah, yay, summer.
And this is the, I believe, is it 27th annual?
27th year of Marketfest, yes.
Yeah, it feels like we just had you on talking about the 25th, but for those, I gave a brief description in my introduction, but for those who maybe are new to the area or aren't familiar, can you just kind of tell us a little bit about what exactly is Marketfest?
Absolutely. So as you said, it is held in downtown White Bear Lake. It starts June 15th and runs 7 consecutive weeks, so Thursday evenings from 6 to 9. It's an amazing transformation of downtown with about 130 to 150 vendors per week, and that is in addition to the downtown businesses that participate as well. I think some of the highlights of the event include 2 stages of live entertainment and intermission acts that are local performers, businesses from the area, which I think is a really special piece.
I'm now joined by Dr. Michael Lovett, who is retiring after serving as the superintendent of the White Bear Lake Area School District for the last 9 years. And Dr. Lovett, I want to thank you for joining us once again here on Northeast Journal.
Thank you, Joe. It's good to be here.
I know we had you on, I think, shortly after you took the post, and I've seen you at a number of events over the years. What brought about the decision to hang it up, I guess?
Well, as my wife explains, I'm really just quitting my day job. I have a number of part-time professional responsibilities, but I think there are really a couple factors. First of all, we have 4 children, a granddaughter and our daughter and son-in-law in Denver, and then our sons in New York City, Tampa, and San Francisco. And they've been getting increasingly, I would say, they're making the point more and more that, Dad, you really should be more available. When they ask me to do something so frequently, I've had to say, can we wait for MEA or wait for the summer? So I think it's family driven. The other thought that I realize is that we're at a good point in the district with increasing enrollment, sound financial condition, increasing test scores, and it was really a good time for someone else to take on the responsibility for the next decade or more.
It's almost time for the summer's biggest party in Vadnais Heights, Heritage Days. I'm joined in the studio by Vadnais Heights Recreation Supervisor Brigid Nault and City Engineer and Public Works Director Mark Graham. I want to thank both of you for joining me today. And Brigid, I know every year at this time we have you in, and you always bring a guest. And I believe a couple years ago, Mark was kind enough to come in. And
it's nice to be back.
We didn't scare you away, I guess, because you came back.
We'll keep coming.
But as I mentioned in my intro, we're getting really close here to Heritage Days. And for people who maybe aren't familiar with it, what exactly is Heritage Days?
Well, it's our community city festival, and Minnesota is well known for community festivals, so we have celebrated it for 42 years, and it takes place the 3rd Sunday in August every year, and this year it's going to be August 17th through the 20th.
Deb, I want to thank you so much for coming back to Northeast Journal again. I know you're a familiar face. We usually have you on a couple times a year, usually kind of early in the summer to talk about Marketfest. And now that we're getting close to beginning of September here, we're talking about White Bear Township Day. And for those who maybe aren't familiar with it, can you tell us what White Bear Township Day is?
Great, sure. Thanks, Joe, for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's right around the corner again. And White Bear Township Day is a day-long event. It starts at 2 o'clock, and as you said, Polar Lakes Park. And it concludes at 8 p.m. with a fabulous fireworks display. But throughout the day, there's many activities, live entertainment throughout the day, a lot of inflatables for our young ones, a petting zoo, a couple of new things this year. We have a beanbag tournament, and that's for all ages, and we'd encourage people to sign up for that. There's cash prizes involved, so kind of a neat new piece of the event, as well as a large, what we're calling touch-a-truck, and a large sandbox. So the Public Works Department has been wonderful, and they have a few new items they'd like to show off, but it also gives the community an opportunity to see these things, get close to them. Also with Ramsey County Sheriff's Department too, we'll have a large display of their squad cars and things that, again, the community can get up close and personal with. Lots of vendors, lots of food, all kinds of, like I said, activities throughout the day.
To find out more about the Oakdale Area Business Showcase, I'm now joined by Jody Christensen and Bill Burns, who are both board members of the Oakdale Area Chamber of Commerce. And Bill and Jody, I want to thank both of you for coming by again. I know you were here last year to talk about the business showcase. And we just viewed a little short story that was produced about last year's event. So folks watching right now probably have a little bit of an idea about it, but could you just give me a little more information? What exactly is the Oakdale Area Business Showcase?
Sure.
Jody, go ahead.
I thought you'd probably throw it over to me. That's fine. The Oakdale Area Showcase kind of was, to go back just a little bit, for many years the City of Oakdale held a home improvement fair. That was prior to 2008 when, before the market crash. And it was a great event, and the city did a wonderful job. But from, I think it was 2008, 9, and 10, it just really nobody was coming because people either didn't have equity in their home, they weren't spending the money, whatever the reason. But there was such value in people knowing what was available to them in their community. So Bill and I started talking and said, okay, what can we do? So 3 years ago, we decided to put this event together and kind of showcase not just home improvement companies, but everything in Oakdale or the Oakdale area. So we do reach out to Woodbury and Lake Elmo and have some businesses that join us from that area too.
And I'm now joined by the Executive Director of the White Bear Lake Area Historical Society, Sara Hanson. And Sara, I want to thank you so much for being on Northeast Journal today.
Thanks for having me.
I know we've had you on in the past, and it seemed like we just did, but it actually was about 2 years ago, and talking about the same topic we're talking now. We just saw the story that was done a couple years ago about the Heritage Hall as it was being moved, and I thought it'd be a good time to kind of check in here. We're almost a couple years later. What kind of things are happening now?
It's amazing how fast time disappears before us, and a lot has happened over the last couple of years, actually. The building, of course, was moved to its fourth location, which is Polar Lakes Park, and since that time, before as well, but since that time, the Historical Society has been working really hard to try to track down as much information about it as possible. That has included a grant from the State Legacy Program to do research at the Cass Gilbert Collection at the New York Historical Society, where we were hoping to find a smoking gun to absolutely make the link between Cass Gilbert and the building, and find drawings and all of those wonderful things. And unfortunately, as I know all too well, the historical research process doesn't always work out quite like you plan. But that's okay, because we found a lot of other connections between Cass and the building and the contractor who constructed it, and lots of other details from that standpoint, as well as other work he had done in the area, which is fantastic. That was followed up by a visit to the Library of Congress.
That's all we have time for on this special edition of Northeast Journal. I want to thank all of you that take the time to watch our show each month on SCC or online. If you ever have something you'd like to see on Northeast Journal, please feel free to let us know. Our contact info can be found on our website, scctv.org. From all of us here at SCC, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in 2018. Happy holidays.